Welcome to A Bold and Distant Future. Are you there, Eddie?
I'm here,
Hey,
raring to go.
raring to go. Glad you're here. Today we're starting a sort of a new kind of episode. We're going to do an all live episode and roll forward this way, I hope, if this works out. Hey, in America, we don't do kings. There are protests coming up June 14th. It's the No Kings protest. June 14th, we rise up. Look into that, everyone. I find my protest uh, locations and times at the 5051 website. I recommend other people go there as well. It's a good clearinghouse for every state. Every state. Even I think there might even be some international protests listed there.
Interestingly, the parade that was scheduled was disavowed by the Army. They say they don't know anything about it.
Is that right? How?
I read it. I don't know where I read it.
That's.
I can't even tell you now. But I just looked at it and I went, well, that's par for the course, isn't it?
I'm sure they'll throw something together for him. But also, June 14th is Trump's birthday. Many people, they're saying the world is going to post photos of Barack Obama on their social media platforms on that day. I advise everyone to do the same. I'm going to do it.
I've got some nice originals from our time meeting him in New Delhi at the embassy.
Oh, wow. That's cool. Someone in our family um, met him and had him autograph a book, and then they lost the book,
Oh,
or it got given in the Goodwill pile. Hey, laughing at the lies. That's what I'm trying to do. And apparently, this horrible portrait of Donald Trump, which was done for particular state. It's not a national thing, it's a state thing.
it's a pretty bad photo. I mean, a pretty bad portrait as
Yeah,
portraits
yeah, it
go.
makes him look kind of fat. This was found in my neighborhood, so I had to put that up there. I
You bet.
usually I usually don't like profanities, but it does lead us into our segment about knowing your rights, and I want everyone to know their rights, and I think we need to broadcast this out as much as possible.
Grace and I have gone to several different presentations on training
Hmm.
uh, to to be sanctuary for anyone that needs it. And
Well,
there's been lawyers present.
well, if they show up at your door and you suspect they're ICE, you can say, "I don't give you permission to come inside." Now, whether they, battered the door down, I don't know. And you can tell them, leave a card with your name or number. Tell them, "I don't want to speak to you. Please leave." Say, "I don't consent to you being in my home. Please leave." Now, if they are police, you can ask them where they're from. You can say, "What precinct are you from?" You could tell them, "I want to see a warrant." I
That's
don't want to give you any documents, and tell them, "I don't give you permission to search." Without a warrant, they shouldn't have any permission to search.
and there is training that's happening in terms of the sanctuary movement about the warrant because ICE presents papers they've made themselves, which are not valid warrants. They're just papers that ICE made, and they have to be a warrant and they have to be signed by a judge in order to be legal. Otherwise, your legal rights to do any of this are are still valid.
Right.
The only thing that invalidates any of this being legal is if they have a warrant signed by a judge. And you should ask for that first.
Right. So when they come back, and I've seen video of this, of them flashing this paper, which is not an official warrant. What do you do when they go, "We have a warrant, here it is," and they show you this piece of paper that's false? What do you do? Is there a number you call on it? What do you do? I mean,
There has been in the trainings they have offered examples, visual examples, so that you can see the difference between an actual warrant and the piece of paper that you're mentioning. And you can say, I don't see the judge's signature, can you please show me?
Right. I mean, most of these interactions I've seen on video anyway with ICE agents aren't very cordial. They get really aggressive, and here now they're breaking in windows. If you're in a car, I guess the same car they can break into, but your front door they can't. I don't quite get the logic here.
I don't know if that's legal either.
Yeah, it's the legality of all of this is so gray that none of us have any, law to grasp a hold of for any kind of comfort. They're always masked and usually not as well marked as these people are with federal agent. A lot of them just look like they're in street clothes. They don't, these guys at least have, this federal agent has a badge showing. Now, are they carrying weapons? Are ICE agents armed?
It sure looks like a big Glock on the guy's hip there.
Yeah. But I've seen some of these interactions in video and stuff where they don't look like they're in flak jackets and kind of military, police military garb. It just looks like ordinary guys. Well,
You
on
know,
the
the other thing that comes into mind is this whole idea that Trump's going to revoke habeas corpus, and I think that's a really big issue too, because it's guaranteed in the Constitution that you are to be um, brought before a judge and that you are told what it is that you're being arrested for.
Mm.
That's not happening.
Well, this is happening. Trump has a new artwork that he plans on making a 9 foot tall version of this statue in bronze, and it's in the Oval Office. It's a depiction of the moment after his assassination attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania, when he stood up, sort of flanked by the Secret Service.
Yeah.
Again, I like to look at the artwork and the symbolism being put forth by the Trump administration. It's so tacky and garish and so has this flavor of authoritarianism or a dictator who would, want to heroicize himself.
You know, it's a little bit like Jesus on the cross. I want to see the scar on his ear. I think the whole thing was staged.
Many
You notice
people,
that we never saw anything about the supposed body on the roof that they shot? We never saw a single thing about it. There was never anything about it. And I
yeah,
hearken back to Kennedy's assassination and Rubin's assassination of Lee Harvey Oswald.
right.
Everything, everything was picked up by the media and flaunted again and again. Right?
Yeah,
It's
there
ad
was
infinitum until we're all
very
sick.
little transparency in the aftermath of that assassination attempt, was there? Very little.
Yeah, I think it was staged.
Many people do. In fact, I have a little BBC article headline that I put up here that'll kind of point to that as well. But I don't fall for this. This does not make me feel like a proud American.
They made his hands too big.
Yeah, his hands look off. They don't look right. I mean, it was a nice touch to have that agent clasping him in the front, but the guy standing in the back looks like a deer in the headlights with his sunglasses on.
Yeah.
It's kind of a crude statue. It's not, doesn't have any grace. It doesn't have any subtlety.
It's stiff.
Yeah, it's very stiff, isn't it? Not a very good work. Oh, here's the BBC article: How social media assassination conspiracies are uniting pro and anti-Trump voters. They were showing that many far right and far left people believe this assassination attempt was staged. So that feeling is out there. There was no evidence that I have heard about it, but it did work perfectly. I think it helped him win the election. If
Maybe.
if not computer whatever shenanigans. This is happening at the Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C. They've hung a banner of Trump on the front of the building, which is people are saying it's deeply creepy.
Yeah, I'd hate to live across the street from that. Good God.
Side by side with the Lincoln,
Yeah,
one of our most beloved presidents and one
that's
of
a
our,
little obscene and pretentious.
yeah. Eh, I don't think living presidents have done things like this to my knowledge, where
Oh,
they,
that gives me an idea for the Trump statue. We can make it even bigger than life size and put it on the opposite end where the Lincoln statue is. Put it on the other end of the green.
make it 25 stories high.
Yeah, I'm sure we can get some nice Italian stonemasons to carve that one.
So I found a couple of pictures of other dictators around the world that have used this kind of, heroic imagery to sort of exert their power and flex. And this was together by, I found this on Reddit. Someone put this together, the voices of resistance. It says they all start with the belief that they are the solution. Then they put up their self-advertising. When will the masses see the disturbing patterns of behavior? This makes me physically ill. You've got all the people, the dictators that Trump is sort of associating himself with, Mussolini and Stalin and the Mustache Man and Chairman Mao, Pinochet, and Gaddafi.
Right.
This is such a dictator move, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Some people respond to that. They want a strong man. There's an impulse there. I
I
don't
wonder
know
if you could
why.
rig a drone to carry and operate a spray can.
Oh, that's not a bad idea.
I mean, I could just see a beautiful giant curly mustache, Salvador Dali-esque.
8647 has become a thing. I think James Comey, former
Yes.
FBI director, got kind of slapped down for posting that.
There's a great bit on Colbert interviewing Comey, and he talks about this. And
Yeah.
I know from restaurant work that I've done that 86ing something means you got to take it off the menu because it's no longer available.
I've
You
always
run out.
I've heard it's like if you're going to get 86ed out of a place, it means you're being ejected from the premises.
Yeah,
You know.
that too. But I mean, originally I know it was used in restaurant jargon to
Mm.
indicate that you're out of something.
Oh, is that right?
86, 86 the T-bone steaks.
Oh, I see. Cancel it.
Yeah.
This is AI generated viewers. I'm sorry I didn't put the disclaimer up on this one.
Well, there's one more too. 8, 6, 4, and 7 add up to 25, which is the 25th Amendment, and we all know what that's about.
Oh, I didn't know that. I
Bring
never
it
heard that
on.
one.
Bring it on.
That's good. I'm not really a big fan of numerology, but in that case, I'll take it.
Okay.
I do avoid the number 13. Speaking of ICE raids, Kid Rock himself, the big Trump supporter, responded to his restaurant being raided by ICE. Apparently, he had some workers there who were undocumented immigrants, and they raided his place. And Kid Rock said he is not involved with the day-to-day operations at his Nashville restaurant, where workers without legal status were reportedly shielded from immigration agents earlier this month.
What's wrong with that statement? Not to mention, why did they put Foofy cucumber water in the picture of the headline?
I don't know,
Okay.
but this seems like a, blatant double standard that, he would go and get off scot-free. They were protecting ICE from, rounding up illegal immigrants for his restaurant. Nothing happened to him, but the judge who tried to help someone avoid immigration was thrown in jail for a time.
Of course, it's Animal Farm all over again. All pigs are equal, but some pigs are more equal than others.
That's the truth, isn't it? And these are such dark times that we have to watch, people being rounded up on the street. Many of them without, I mean, the one that kills me is that poor girl who was at Tufts University, the Turkish girl.
Yeah.
Well, this story is interesting. It's about judges who ruled against Trump are receiving unsolicited pizza deliveries. Now, it might sound like a prank. It might just sound like, ha ha ha. But there's more to this unsolicited pizza deliveries and what it means. First of all, they've got the addresses of the judges. They know their home addresses, which is
Yeah, that's
that
kind of creepy to begin with.
that's troubling. So someone went to the, trouble of, finding that out. But the pizza deliveries themselves go back to a judge in New Jersey. Her name was Judge Esther Salas, who ruled. They don't know who did it, to my understanding, but she made a ruling that someone did not like, and then they sent a pizza delivery to her home, and her son opened the door, and her son was shot, and I believe her husband was shot. She was not. She's still alive. Son was killed, but many of these pizzas, I think seven anti-Trump judges were sent pizzas, and a few of them, the pizza was sent to the name Daniel Salas,
That's
who
that's a little beyond creepy. It's more like sick.
it's sick and it's a
When did
threat.
this event happen with Judge Salas? Do you have any idea?
Maybe couple of years ago, at least a year ago, I think.
Okay, I didn't hear
Yeah.
about it somehow.
And again, I think the trial that sort of, set this off was not anything to do with Trump, but it was you know, an attempt to intimidate and wound a judge, which they, killed her son. Obviously, it's terrible. But they're using his name, her son's name, as part of this intimidation and the pizza delivery as a way to intimidate judges. I think last night Trump had his big Cybercoin gala, and he generated $148 million for his Bitcoin or
Yeah.
his Trump coin or whatever it was. And I think it says here the top 220 Trump coin holders were able to dine with Trump. And people are saying you can't trace where this money's coming from. It could be coming from foreign assets. Um, I think many foreigners were at the dinner itself. I don't want to speak out of turn, but I think I heard that there were people from all around the world who came to this event.
Yeah. It's that kind of obscene that Trump's profiting from the presidency is going without any kind of pushback at all, even though it's stated that they're not supposed to be profiting from the presidency. He has set himself up to profit immensely, both in the first term and now in this term.
Is
And
that
don't
what?
get me started on his golf game.
Yeah. I mean, it costs $10 million every time he goes out to play golf, that kind of thing.
I think they said three. and he generally plays golf sometime every week, so he's already up to about 25 or more games of golf at 3 million a pop. You want to think about eliminating fraud
Waste.
and waste. Let's start there.
If you have extra money, you can visit the Trump store
Oh
and
yeah.
buy silver coins with Trump's face on them and glasses and mugs. I
That's
find it,
not gonna happen.
yeah, I find it incredible that there's a market for this, but this is the reality check for me. Reminds us that if someone wants to spend $205 on a Trump deluxe robe,
No,
they
thank you.
can. Yeah, no, thank you. But this is happening right now as he sits in the White House as our president. He's selling this merchandise,
Right.
you know.
You're gonna wear a robe with Trump across your heart. I don't think so.
This just points up the division, I think, in our country that, some people are celebrating Trump and some of us are not.
Yeah.
Well, the last thing here is just to remind people that June 14th is a protest. The No Kings protest is happening. If you check on the website 5051, you'll see a location in your state and your area to go to. Join in. This is Trump's birthday. It's Flag Day. I hope it turns into a good protest. And I thank you, Eddie, for being here and rolling through this slideshow again. Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you to any listeners out there enjoying our bold and distant future, and we hope to see you again next week.
Get
Thanks,
out there
Eddie.
and enjoy the day, huh?
I will. You too.
We're gonna go scrub the deck now.
I'm going to go play in the garden.
That sounds good.
All right. Take care.
Adios.
All right. Bye bye.